A conference final rematch between two Western foes gets going in Big D as we get you set for Game 1 between the Oilers and the Stars right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream Pregame Show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pregame Show. Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas with you live on location at Boston Pizza Westgate. Where else? We've started round 1 right here. We're going to start round 2 right here. We're going to kick off round 3 right here. And Tony says, hey, if there's a Game 7, it's right here. And Game 1, next round, is right here. We hope you can join us. A bunch of nasties are already here. Rip City Step, Rob from the Grove, VR Montenegro, and I think someone else is already here. Corey B is in the house. All right. Jersey. Yeah, he's got a pot gold. Okay. All right. Big thank you to Tony here at BP and Curtis for having us. Faith, the entire staff, they're fantastic. Come on down. It's going to be packed. We're going to have a bunch of our crew here as well. So it's going to be a ton of fun here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream Pregame Show, and you get to be here, which is fantastic.
Yeah, this is great. Last time I did this was in the regular season. Similar situation with a 5 o'clock game. It's great. It's great to be here and doing it live. Shout out to Koob.
Yes.
For sticking around till 6 and producing. Same thing on Friday.
Yep.
And then obviously things will change once they come home. But happy to be here. Like I said on with Gager, I was like, the nerves, everybody's nervous and kind of there's so many feelings going around. Like, but Oiler fans should be enjoying this, Tom. Like,
absolutely.
Decade of darkness. So many. They've been through so much. Like, this is great to have a team that's consistently in the Western Conference Final. This is great. Like, I get being nervous, but be excited. And it's the first game. Let's not lose our bleep.
I liked your confidence earlier on EST Afternoons. Joaquin, how about Joaquin earlier today? He's like, yeah, I got to go down to Ice District, sign some autographs. Not bad.
He's got a pretty good gig.
Yeah, he does. Good dude.
It's great. Hey, can I ask you a favor? Can you put up my headset, please?
If I said no, you guys are deaf, aren't you? I swear.
I'm like Dusty.
Oh my! We were at BP Windermere earlier today, and he goes, "Listen to how loud my headset is," and he just takes it off his head, and it was. I swear the entire lounge could hear his headset. And you, him, and Jay.
Yeah, we're pretty.
Is that better?
That's way better.
Okay,
yeah. I love it.
All right, yours is cranked way up. Mine is definitely not. I should mention, too, by the way, GCL Diesel, presenting sponsor of the pre- and post-game shows, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. I saw the boys on the Reed Wilkins show smash that 240.
Yeah.
That was really well done. So we ask if you can continue that here on the pregame show. That would be lovely. And get your thoughts in via the nasty chat and the inbox. We're keeping tabs on those. We have Lia Assimakopoulos, who will be joining us in about 5 minutes' time. We're going to get to the question of the night with the Latino Heat right away here. And it's a quick, abbreviated pregame show because of these 6 o'clock starts.
Of course, yeah. And we battled through the first 2 rounds. The Vegas one was a quick series, right? 5 games, but I love these times. And I'm probably the only one, Tom, maybe you do as well, that I love the 1 o'clock start on Sunday.
Hour and a half pregame show for that one. We get going at 11:30. Well, okay. I have to work Saturdays, so I just.
I get it. Yeah, because you work 6 days a week, regardless. Sometimes 7.
Yeah.
So I apologize for that. But
don't be. I think it's funny.
I just found it like a lot of people on the Sunday were pretty upset that it was at 1 o'clock. I'm like, why? Then you have the rest of the evening.
You can do whatever the hell you want.
You're free by dinner time.
You can celebrate. You can be sad.
You
whatever
can have more beers.
You can have more beers. You can fire up the grill in a good mood or a bad mood. So many options. All right. Keep those texts coming in. I see a bunch have already dropped. We will get to those. Cass will join us at about 5:25. In the meantime, let's get to the question of the night from the Latino Heat, and then we'll do the lineups, and then we'll get to Lia Assimakopoulos. So take it away, Hernan.
So let's roll with it. We've had luck with it so far. Before every series, before Game 1, I've asked you and Cass, and we want to hear from our listeners. Nasty chat, the inbox 780-218-9999. I want a wild card for this series from each team that's going to lead their team to win this one. So, Tom, we'll start with you.
Okay.
we can let it simmer a bit if you want to think about it, because I think this is a very interesting series. Two great teams going toe-to-toe, and I'm intrigued to hear, Cass, you, and our Nasties, who they think the wild cards are for each team.
I don't mind an X factor. I don't mind an X factor. I'll go off the board a little bit here.
Okay.
I'll go with Jake Wallman.
Oh, okay.
He has been playing well. I mean,
really
plus
good.
minus, make of it what you want, but maybe he rises to the occasion and doesn't like have an onslaught of offensive production, but the points he does put up and the key plays he does make are instrumental in Oilers' victories. Yeah. So I'll go Jake Wallman for the Oilers. I'll go way off the board for the Dallas Stars because I'm completely partial to this guy, Alex Petrovic.
You love him, man.
He's a great guy, and we've known him forever. So I'll just go with Petch. My brother would appreciate that one. So I'll go Jake Wallman for legitimate reasons, and then Alex Petrovic for completely biased reasons. How about you?
That's fair. For the Edmonton Oilers, this is I'm going to go with Nuge, man. He's got, 9 points in the 11 games.
He's been all right.
But if he can just hit another level, oh, man, then for sure the Oilers, no one's going to stop him because Kane's been good. The top two guys have been good, but they haven't gone off like we're used to seeing. The depth has been good, but if Nuge can really step up that game, I think it's a game changer. As for Dallas, it's an interesting one. I'm going to go Duchesne.
Ooh, he's been quiet this postseason.
He's been quiet. If they can get him going, look out, because if he can help that top line out and he can help produce with that second line with Robertson and Wyatt Johnson, look out. That's just a deadly six right there. So I'll go Nuge and Duchesne.
I like it. Let us know your thoughts, 780-218-9999. Who is your X Factor? One from the Oilers, one from the Stars, as we get into the starting lineups, brought to you by our good friends over at South Fort Chev. Go see Daniel and his team in the Fort, and they'll give you $1,000 extra credit on your trade-in. Drive a little, save a lot at South Fort Chev, and also check them out online, www.southfortchev.com. All right, a little bit of a discrepancy for the Oilers. Yeah. We'll get to that in a bit here, but this is from the morning skate. McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Kapanen. That line was pretty good. The two games that Kapanen did play against the Golden Knights. Henrique with Kane and Connor Brown, game time decision, or Victor Arvidsson. We'll see. We'll keep you up to date on that when the teams hit the ice down in Dallas. And then Matthias Janmark with Trent Frederick and Corey Perry on defense. Kulak with Bouchard. Wallman with Klingberg, Nurse with Stetcher. As for Dallas, here's what we're anticipating. Rope Hintz with Mikhail Granlund and Mikko Rantanen. The Finns, their great line, have been excellent this postseason. Matt Duchene with Jason Robertson and Wyatt Johnston. Sam Steele between Mason Marchment and Tyler Seguin. And then Oscar Back with Jamie Benn and Evgeny Dadonov. On defense, Thomas Harley with Miro Heiskanen. Esa Lindell with Cody Ceci. And then Leon Bischel with Alex Petrovic. That brings us to your starting goalies for this one. Stu Skinner for the Oilers. He has been much better in the last couple of games, back-to-back shutouts. Skinner 2-3 this postseason with a .305 GAA, .884 save percentage with 2 shutouts. And then at the other end of the rink, it is Jake Ottinger. He's played 13 games this postseason, 8-5 record, .247 goals against average, .919 save percentage. And finally, the Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists, but you've got a bag of frozen peas. So get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today at www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977 for the Oilers. Calvin Pickard, lower body. Matthias Ekholm, lower body, although he is skating, which is a good sign. Alec Regula, knee all season long. And then for the Dallas Stars, Nils Lundqvist, shoulder, as we welcome in our good friend, Lia Assimakopoulos from the Dallas Morning News. Welcome back, Lia, to the program. How you doing? What's going on in Dallas?
I'm doing great. Just got here and excited for game one tonight.
Well, we wish we could send you a beverage. If you were here at Boston Pizza Westgate, we would send you a delicious beverage.
I wish you could too.
Yeah. How is the vibe in Dallas, and what are the Dallas Stars fans kind of feeling right now? Are they nervous? Are they excited? Do they want vengeance for last year? Give us a sense of the mood.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more excitement than anything. I mean, this is a team that's been in the Western Conference Finals now for 3 consecutive years, and eventually it feels like something's got to give. Eventually they got to get over that hump, and it feels like they've got the roster to do it. Obviously, the Oilers, I think, look even better than they did last year, and it's a big challenge for Dallas. They've already gone through quite a gauntlet to get to this point, but they're healthy and they have their full lineup for the first time in a long time. So definitely things to be encouraged about.
Lia, a lot's been made up in this series about the depth for both teams. The Oilers have gotten a lot of depth scoring. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl were good in the second round, but didn't produce like we're all used to. On the flip side for Dallas, I know that top line has been really, really good for them, but are they still lacking that depth, and is that a concern heading into this series, the depth scoring?
Yeah, they definitely haven't gotten the depth scoring that they felt like they could have in this playoff run. I mean, there have been times in the playoffs where Jason Robertson and Wyatt Johnston have been on their fourth line, which is kind of unheard of in the playoffs in this league. So they definitely need to get more contributions from those guys. People like Matt Duchene, Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin. They haven't really contributed in ways that they hoped they would, but they've really been getting close. It feels like they've had lots of opportunities, just haven't converted. So, I think they look at it as more of a positive at this point of they've been able to get this far without all of their depth. So if, that depth can start to click in the next couple of games, then that could be a game changer for them. Now, if the depth does not start to click in the next couple of games, then I think it's more of a concern. But they need to get those contributions, especially, given what the Oilers' depth has done here.
We look at Mikko Rantanen, and he's been awesome for the Stars in the postseason here, Lia. And then obviously Hintz and Granlund, this finish line has been great. How much of it is Rantanen driving this line, and how much of it is Granlund and Hintz helping Rantanen? How would you describe that dichotomy?
Yeah, I think it depends on the game. I mean, I think in that Colorado Game 7, it was Rantanen driving the entire team and pretty much putting the team on his back. And there have been moments of that. But, I think we've seen just the three of them work really well together. And it might seem trivial and insignificant, but they've talked a lot about, being three Finns that have played together in international competition, that know each other, that communicate in the same language. And, for two players in Granlund and Rantanen who were new to this roster in the last couple of months, it's kind of eased the transition. And obviously Roope Hintz is a playmaker and just needs to be surrounded by the right people. So it's been a really good fit. And there's a reason that, Jason Robertson's back in the lineup now and he's not on that top line. It's just been such a good fit for the three of them.
Well, yeah, another player that made his return against the Jets was Miro Heiskanen. We speak glowingly of him here. We watched him play for a lot of years. He's an excellent defenseman. How has he looked since his return? Is he just getting better and better every game?
Yeah, it feels like he's taken steps forward every game. He's still not quite at the level that he was in the playoffs last year. He, I think, averaged 28 minutes a night last year in the playoffs, and he played 23 last game. So that was about the closest that he's been, and he's definitely getting close. And I think there's a good chance we see them go back to 12-6 lineup tonight. They were going 11-7 the last couple games, but you can feel a difference when he's out there. Just both, on the power play and just pure, his defensive ability and the offensive ability he brings as well. He's just, the most well-rounded player on their roster, and obviously it was very difficult for them to lose him for as long as they did. So they look at him coming back as a game changer.
Lia Assimakopoulos joining us now from the Dallas Morning News as we get you set for Game 1 of the 2025 Western Conference Final rematch from last year. Okay, I'm gonna rattle off some stats. Minus 13, minus 9, minus 7, minus 6, minus 5, a couple of minus 3s, some minus 2s, a bunch of minus 1s, and then a few zeros and just 3 1s. Leo, what's going on with the plus minus? I know, make of it what you want. I've said that. I said it earlier on the show before you hopped on, but why with this Dallas team with such a good roster? What's going on here? Tell us the story.
I think plus minus is kind of, it's meaningless, but it also means something. I don't know what to make of it. Honestly, the Stars the games they've lost, they've been blown out, and the games they've won have been close. So I think that kind of makes the difference. And a lot of the games they've lost, I mean, they've, I think, had 3 shutouts on the road that weren't great. And, those were kind of big response games after they either won, a tight one in overtime, whatever, on home ice, or stole one in Winnipeg, and then just got completely shut out by Hellebuck the next game. So that's been part of it. And, a lot of them have been empty net goals at the end. I don't know how much it's necessarily indicative of what the play has looked like. But, yeah, I think they've shown that they can win the close games, which is important. But, then they've kind of laid an egg in a couple of these road games, and that's a concern as well. So obviously they want to keep them all a little bit closer, but I think that justifies the plus minus. But yeah, I mean, Wyatt Johnston, I think, has the worst plus minus in the team, which is not normal at all for him. But it is what it is. I don't think they're upset with how he's playing at all. They're definitely not making any decisions based on that. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird stat.
Yeah.
As far as Coach DeBoer goes, in the first 2 rounds, I'm intrigued to see how he handles his lines tonight. He has the last change. Is he much for matching lines, or does he just let his 4 lines roll?
He lets them roll a little more. He said that he kind of cares more about matching defensemen than he does forwards. I mean, they've got Jamie Benn on their 4th line right now, and like the 4th line's looked really good. Last game, Sam Steele scored a goal and set up, or had the penalty that led to the game-winning goal. So, they've each night it feels like it's been a different line that's delivered, even if that top line's been scoring the most. I expect you're going to see a lot from all of them, and it looks like they're going to be shifting their lines a little bit tonight, and Duchesne and Sagan and Marchman are getting split up. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like.
Leo, we've been talking about the goaltending matchup. Obviously, people in Edmonton look at Stu Skinner and they go, well, back-to-back shutouts. Oh, my goodness, he's back. But all season long, they've dogged him. He had some rough nights. Certainly, we acknowledge that. But, a lot of the blame did get pointed at Stu Skinner. At the other end, we got Jake Ottinger, another excellent goaltender that the Oilers are going to face. His numbers are good. He's got the .247 GAA, .919 save percentage, 8-5 record this postseason. How would you sum up Ottinger's game so far this playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are saying that Rantanen is the Conn Smythe front runner, but I think Jake Ottinger needs to be in that conversation too, at least for Dallas. I mean, he's been, I think, their most consistent player through 13 games that they've played so far. I think the goaltending matchup is fascinating in this series because I think Dallas entered last year thinking they had a pretty significant advantage, and Skinner kind of stood on his head, and especially in that Game 6 when Edmonton clinched the series. So it's a bit of a wild card, but they feel pretty confident in what they have in Ottinger, and looks like he's gotten better as the playoffs have gone on. That's kind of his identity is he steps up in big games, gets better as the series goes on. He's much better in a Game 7 than he is in a Game 1, and I think that's what you want in a playoff goalie. So yeah, there's nothing but confidence in him based on how he's played in the first 2 rounds.
All right, I'll ask you one more. You don't want any more?
Good.
Okay, I've got one last one for you, Leah. Oh, Nancito. Good to have him on location today. All right. Leah, how do you think this series will compare to last year's conference final?
I don't know. I think it's going to be a great series. I think it's, 2 teams that look deep right now, that have had great goaltending, that have, last year for Dallas, it felt like they just didn't really have the star power to match up with McDavid and Draisaitl. And, you add Rantanen and that's a game changer. So it's going to be exciting to see just that head-to-head matchup with some of those guys. I think I need to watch a game tonight to have at least some feeling of how it's going to play out. But I think we're going to get some great hockey, and I'm very excited to see the puck drop tonight.
Are you making your way up to Edmonton, Leah?
Of course. I can't wait.
Yes. Okay, good. I'll lock it in right now. I'll put you on the spot. Will we see you for games 3 and 4 on location with us, because we're right outside the arena before we head in for the game?
I would love that. That'd be great.
Perfect. It's all set up. We've got it on the record. Leah will be joining us for games 3 and 4 to set up those games at the Ice House. Enjoy the game. Thanks for hopping on with us. We'll see what happens, Leah.
Of course. Thank you.
There we go. Lia Assimakopoulos, Dallas Morning News. Great stuff from her, as always, covering the Stars. She covers SMU football as well. Well, I know we have a lot of NCAA football fans, or just people that go on Play Alberta and bet.
Oh, yeah. No, it was great.
Yeah, make a little money.
I know we had Leah on during the regular season. She's fantastic. And what was I was gonna say something.
I don't know what you were gonna say. I can't help you.
Hey, can you confirm that annoying guy behind the net's gonna be at the game?
Glassbanger.
Yeah.
Apparently he's back. Somebody did a story on. I guess we should have asked Lia.
Yeah, I know. I just drew a blank when you went to me. I was like, wait, what was I gonna ask?
Well, okay. Look at this. I was talking with Jess Jackson from the Bear, and she's like, "What's the story behind the Glassbanger guy? Is he just a fan from Dallas that bangs on the glass, and now he's back?" I'm like, yeah, I know there's always this one obnoxious guy. I don't know what his deal is. And then Jess looked into it. She goes, I found it. Apparently he was in jail. He's a real...
Yeah.
But apparently he's back tonight.
He was in jail. Jeez.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
All right, let's get to some text here. 780-218-9999. Throw out the question of the night one more time.
X factors for the Dallas Star, 1 and 1 for the Edmonton Oilers. Tom went with Alex Petrovich and Jake Wallman. I went with the Nuge, and I was going to call him Steve Duchesne. Oh,
classic Steve
Matt Duchesne.
Great blast from the past.
So keep those coming to the nasty chat. We got a few, and then hit us up on the inbox 780-218-9999.
Okay, Rowdy Roddy texts again. Good to hear from Rowdy Roddy.
Remember when
it's been a while,
man.
Like, hey boys, I just had a few.
But he was, you know what?
He was good.
Roddy was good because he was always respectful. He never
and honest.
Yeah, he never said a bad word.
No, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
it's good to hear from him. Yes.
Rowdy Roddy says, hey boys, Tommy, Hernan, great show. Watching you guys. Wildcard Oilers, Janmark. 2 shorties in series.
Whoa.
He goes bold, Rowdy Roddy, and says, I agree with Hernan. Duchesne for Dallas. Won't matter. Oilers in 5. Rowdy Roddy. Poop Stains. What a great name. Says, great guess. Yes, Lia is awesome. If you want to follow somebody that'll keep you looped in with the Stars, give you a little bit of insight, we highly recommend Lia Assimakopoulos. Assimakopoulos. I think I almost had it.
From Greece.
That's Greek, yeah.
I just want to throw this in there, though. Like, if you look at the Dallas Stars media guy, it shrunk quite a bit. Like, they used to have a full...
Yeah.
And now it's only Lia, and then the guy that used to cover that,
Mike Heika.
He's with the team.
Yeah.
And then they have DLLS Sports with
Brian Ray's one of their guys.
Owen Euchre, Craig Ludwig,
yes.
Sam Nessler.
Yes.
And then, but I remember at least 5 years ago that you could reach out to 10 people, and now they're limited with Dallas.
That's disappointing because they've been such a good team. I mean, maybe it's indicative of where media has gone. Traditional, print and TV. I mean, the newsrooms are shrinking all over the place, unfortunately. Traditional radio stations have dwindled and continue to. My old TV station got shut down in Lloyd last week. That's why our station, a new digital style, is actually doing quite well. So that's a good point because Dallas has really good coverage. So
they do. And Zedmo says Pod Colson for the Oil, a team therapist for the Stars.
Okay. Whoa. Well played. Nicely done. Jason L. Duke says X factors for Edmonton. Kane. Evander can neutralize the antics of players like Ben. His bang and crash style will wear the Dallas defense down. Kane will be drawing some favorable matchups to display his skill against. For Dallas, Ottinger. If he can steal a game or two, Dallas can win this series. Goaltending is the ultimate analytics buster. I'll go as far as saying that Ottinger being the best we've ever seen him is the only way the Stars win this series. Oilers in 5 from Jason and Leduc. Big Dave says wild card for the Stars will be Jamie Benn. Dude could play close enough to the edge and lay the kind of hits that can change a series. For the Oil, it's Stu Skinner. If he plays like he did against the Stars last year and the way he did at the end of the last series, he could really give his team an edge. Truthfully, the biggest wild card, as always, is the officiating. Nobody knows what those guys are going to do. That one from Big Dave. Keep those coming in. Your X factors for the Oilers and the Stars going into the series. Twitter Mary chiming in. X factor for game 1. Bouchard is going to release the Hounds. He hasn't been messing up hardly at all lately. It's nice to not have to be talking badly about his game. Fingers crossed from Twitter Mary. All right. I see Cass is ready to go, so let's get him in here. Our game analyst, Matt Kassian, hopping on now for Game Changers, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. Actually had a couple of sales. I think he did a couple days ago, if I saw on his Instagram correctly. He's community-driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in our city, so check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. What's up, Cass? Is that a new haircut? You look very fresh.
Yeah, little fresh cut, fellas.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, you gotta look good for the playoffs. And Tom, just trying to keep up with you as always.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
You.
My Jappy says, he's like, I always see Tommy around the footy ball field, and he's like, and his hair is looking great. And I'm like, I guess I better keep up with him.
Oh, you're doing great. I need to go see.
I should say he's actually even more excited when he sees you at the field than Tom. So.
Well, I would be too. I mean, this guy's popular on the field. I need to get to the footy ball field.
You do
soon here. I'm overdue. It's been busy.
Yes,
and I'm on the air. I look tomorrow. They're off the field at like 9:55.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Wow.
I know. Don't worry, Dahmer. I'm coming. Our Curry, I'm coming. I'll be there. I got to keep tabs on those Elks. All right, Cass, you want to take a crack at the question of the night really quickly before we dive into Game Changers?
Absolutely, I do.
All right. Lay it on us one more time for Cass and the listeners. And
just
viewers.
like in the first 2 rounds, Cass, an X factor for the Dallas Stars, an X factor for the Edmonton Oilers. I went Nuge and Duchesne. Tommy went Wallman and Petrovic. Who do you have?
Ooh, Petrovic. Oh.
I completely biased. Just like longtime family friend. That's
yeah.
Why.
You know, Petra's an awesome dude. Yeah. Awesome guy. Really good guy. I actually due for lunch with him. We weren't able to get out last summer. He was gone all the time. Yeah.
He lives in Texas now, though. I think.
Yeah, he's looking to settle down in Texas, which doesn't surprise me. After he spent a couple of years down there, that's what he was saying. All right, X factor for the Edmonton Oilers here. I'm going to go Connor Brown, a guy that just kind of continues to have moments in the playoffs where he shines, plays where he shines. He kind of strikes me as a guy that could be that X factor heading into this. So I'm going to go Connor Brown on that third line for the Edmonton Oilers. For the Dallas Stars, I gotta go. You guys aren't. I'm gonna be completely biased in this one too. You might know where I'm going. The second that I said that, yeah. I'm gonna be completely biased with this. I'm gonna go Cody Ceci. You know that now. There's actually. It's not just because he's my friend and I approve of Cody Ceci and want to see him do well and be an X factor. If somebody on that team is going to be an X factor, but I actually think he could. And the reason is this: if the Harley Heiskanen pairing is playing really, really well. If they're playing really, really well, they're a dangerous pairing. They're really good. They're going to play a ton of minutes. It's going to fall on Cody Ceci to be that secondary line of defense against Edmonton's top guys, particularly when Edmonton has the last change later in the series where his minutes and for him and for Lindell as well, like that second pairing, their minutes are going to be incredibly important. For a team in Dallas that can get a little bit leaky at times, that second pairing is I think, potentially going to be clutch, and if they win this series, I think a lot of the credit is going to fall in that second pairing. So I'm going to pick Cody Ceci as the X factor for the Dallas Stars.
I love it, Cass. I want to ask you one thing about Connor Brown. He didn't take the morning skate. He's missed the last couple of practices. I know there was that one game. Was it in the second round where we're talking about, is so and so going to be in? And you're like, yeah, he was in the morning skate. He's playing tonight. I think it was Pietrangelo we were talking about. What about Brown? Do you think that it's concerning that he hasn't been skating lately, or how would you read it as a former player?
Absolutely, it's concerning that he hasn't been playing lately. Now, they've had some time. Now, he's still not taking morning skates, not back at 100%. So I get that. I understand that. He might not play today. Very possible he does not. But as this series goes on, and that's where I pick him for this, I think he will play here at some point. Maybe not game one. I would assume probably by game two he's going, unless they are completely hiding, in which case I'm going to have to change my pick. But hey, it's not like they're ever quite forthcoming with exactly what injuries are. So is it concerning? Yes. Again, if he was on pregame skate and took the full skate, I would say he's playing tonight. Could be a game time decision. I guess we will see here shortly. But yeah, it's hard when they never tell you anything about injuries.
That is true. Okay, we'll probably have an update by the time that this segment wraps up. It is Game Changers with our game analyst, Matt Kassian. Game Changers is always brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Hernan, please do the honors of number one.
Yeah, number one for Game Changers, Cass. Rust.
Well, how can we not talk about being off for what is essentially a week here for the Edmonton Oilers, a team that does not do well when they have long breaks. Got to get rid of that rust early, fellas. Dallas had a couple of days here, but has managed to stay fresh and stay in a rhythm with their games against the Winnipeg Jets and kind of right back to it for them. But for Edmonton, you've had time to recover. You've gotten a little closer to Mattias Ekholm coming back. But for the Edmonton Oilers, you got to shake off that rust early. They had all kinds of momentum through that Vegas series where they started to build and play better as the series went on and really have just kind of consistently been improving over the course of the playoffs. And how can we not be worried after what came out of the Four Nations break, after what came out of the offseason, after any time they have a substantial length of time off, they've kind of sucked. So we got to hope that they've figured that out somehow, and maybe the emotion of the moment is going to allow them to carry that momentum through.
I was going to say, are there any tricks or tips that you've seen over the years in your time in and around the game that has helped shake off rust? Like, is there anything, has anyone solved that issue ever?
I
feel like the answer is no.
Sudafeds? When you can take as many Sudis as you want? Yeah. No, not allowed. I don't think.
Lieutenant Eric.
Oh, there's Lieutenant Eric on the way in. I don't think so. I think, part of it is the habits, the habits you have. Part of it is the mental preparation, but part of it just seems to be ingrained in your DNA as a player. Now, I didn't like playing outside of long breaks, but for me, it wasn't, because there was lots of times I had to, play a game and then not play for like 2 weeks and then play a game because I was in and out of the lineup, but I was still on the ice. Like for me, I really didn't like not being on the ice, which is a little bit different. I wasn't very good. It's like if you left me off the ice for 2 weeks and threw me out there, it's like I'd be absolutely garbage. I wouldn't have any kind of feel. But if you made me practice for 2 weeks and then head into it, I could hold on and bring that life and that energy. So I don't know if there's any specific tricks. Like each player has to figure out what is going to work for them. Like whatever it is that they need to do, whether it be having extra Gatorade, have a double espresso when you normally don't, or just, from your sleep habits to whatever, you got to figure it out. But pretty hard when we've seen the Oilers not come out of breaks well, what feels like forever. But really the last couple of years.
Excellent use of dinner. For those of you that didn't catch that or going, what the hell is he talking about? DNA. Yes.
DNA.
That's what you want to add to it?
It's interesting because with Gager, I was asking him, like, as a player, because you look at Florida, they finished Sunday, they played last night.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not saying that's why they won, but something has to be like, that's got to be a study. Like they had a day in between travel and they look like they didn't miss a beat, where Carolina looked a little sluggish, a little slow to start, right? So, sometimes it's always that rest versus rust, but like sometimes when you're just going, I think Chris Pronger said it on one of the shows on the panel where he's like, when you're in the playoffs, you're just in a different mode. Like you're not tired. You're not like, you just go, you just want to go. And maybe like Cass said, like this might hurt the Oilers when you look at a team like Florida. It might have helped them last night, right? Because they had no time to relax.
They looked so much better than Carolina. I wondered that that they kept playing and they didn't build up any rust, and Carolina might have had some, or are they just that much better than the Carolina Hurricanes?
No, I would buy into the rest and rust in that one for me in watching that game. Like and that's what it does. Like when we talk about it in training camps, right, for players, like why are teams sloppier? And we would call it around the rink. You call it you have October hands versus like Christmas hands. Two very different things, right? Where you don't have the same feel in October as you do towards the end of the year because it's just different. Again, no matter how much you practice, playing at that game pace, it's just different. And playoffs, it's even more because the intensity is ratcheted up. even more. And so you have a team like in Florida where they're playing every second day. They just get through a big emotional Game 7 win, hop on a plane, and get ready to go for the next one. And for them, it's like that adrenaline is still pumping up high. And for Carolina, where, yes, you had a good series, you played very well, you dominated in a lot of ways, you got through it, and you've been sitting there waiting, it's difficult to ratchet that intensity immediately back up. Now, we'll have to see Game 2, what it looks like for that group, but there is again, very realistic, very real fear that for the Edmonton Oilers, they fall into that trap.
All right, number 2, Hernan.
Stop Mikko.
Yeah, well, guy's a freaking goal-scoring machine right now. Right. Mikko Rantanen, we could say maybe struggled right at the start of playoffs. Maybe didn't produce how he wanted to produce, and then all of a sudden just starts putting away hat tricks like it's nobody's business, and has been an absolute monster for the Dallas Stars and for the Edmonton Oilers. So you kind of look at this and go like, yeah, they got to shut him down. He has to be the guy that they're looking at to say, if we're going to have to deal with somebody here right now in the playoffs, and if we're going to have to game plan on, okay, how do we limit a player's opportunity? Mikko Rantanen has to be at the top of that list. And the challenge for the Edmonton Oilers with this, and you kind of, he's not the same player as like a Quentin Byfield, who had a lot of success for the LA Kings. Like, he's not quite as physical, but he's got some of the same characteristics. He's got some of the same characteristics in that he's a really big body. Now, he plays the wing, so again, a little different, but really big body, can make plays around the net, isn't afraid of going to the net, and create space for himself in the offensive zone. And he's playing with a responsible player, my old teammate in Mikael Granlund, as well as another high-skilled player in Rupe Heinz. Like, that is a really dangerous line, and Mikko Rantanen is a really dangerous player. And yes, this team's got some depth to it. They do, but their depth hasn't been performing or offensively producing so far in the playoffs at a level that they would like. And so for the Edmonton Oilers, with how Dallas is currently playing, shutting down that top line and shutting down Mikko Rantanen, it's a big ask, but if you can do it, you are really, really giving yourself a great chance to win a hockey game. Because I think with how Edmonton's depth has been playing, your depth may be able to outplay the depth of the Dallas Stars. You shut down Rantanen, you win hockey games, you might win the series.
Cass, when it comes to shutting down Rantanen, we've had so much lead up into this series. Some have asked, well, is it as simple as just applying the Draisaitl line to Rantanen's line the way Draisaitl got the assignment of the Eichel line in round number 2, or do you think there's more nuance to it than that?
We'll have to see, because each series is different. I think at the start of the series here, that's what you're going to go for the Edmonton Oilers. Like, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, you have to think, hey, that worked on Eichel, maybe it'll work on Rantanen. And having Draisaitl, who's a big body, has the ability to play that physical game, having him down low may help in the series. So if I'm coaching the Edmonton Oilers, that's probably what I'm going to run with to start the series, to say, hey, if I can get that Draisaitl line out there against him, maybe a pretty good place to start.
We're going to have to call security because Fergie's prostate is throwing a fit. It's like one of those old man rages. He just threw his Maple Leafs jersey with his name and number on the back on the ground twice to show his rage for the Maple Leafs' lack of success. He's also got a sick Oil Kings hoodie on, so representing and rocking the Oil Kings there. That's Fergie's prostate putting on a show in the back. It is Game Changers with our game analyst, Matt Kassian, brought to you as always by Damon, Bunting, Real Estate. Point number 1 for tonight, rust. Point number 2, stop Mikko. Point number 3, Hernan, the Latino Heat. Salas, take it away.
High pressure tactics.
High pressure tactics. Anytime I've seen the defense of the Stars struggle, and there have been times that they have struggled, it is when they are under a heavy amount of pressure. Now, Heiskanen comes back into the lineup, recovering from surgery. He's been improving since he stepped in. Like his last game was by far and away, I would say, his best game that we have seen so far from him. But I still think as a whole, this Stars team, their defense, they will turn over pucks if you apply heavy pressure. And to go back to the Rantanen point, I think with the depth of the Edmonton Oilers, if Kane and Henrique and hopefully Brown and the Janmark line as well, like if those guys can apply a lot of pressure physically like they did last series, if Hyman can apply the same offensive forecheck pressure physically that he did last series against the Vegas Golden Knights and also against the LA Kings, I think you are setting yourself up for a lot of success against this group, because it's not the Dallas Stars. They are a team that does have some high power offensive punching. You want to stay out of the box against them. They got a good power play, and the Oilers, we all know how their penalty kill has been in the playoffs. So if you're playing 5-on-5 though, it is a group that will turn pucks over if you force it, but you have to force it. This isn't, I think, a team that you want to sit back against. And that might be the tendency sometimes, against Rantanen's line in particular, is to try to, okay, well, let's sit back. Let's be smart defensively, when it's like, well, I think the best defensive play against the Dallas Stars is to be aggressive on their defensemen in particular, like pressure them, force them to move the puck earlier than they'd like, force them to make plays on their backhand, force them to try to go cross ice and take away the quick ups that they like doing in transition. So I think that high pressure game is ultra important in this, especially in a series that I think it goes 7 games. I think it's going to be a long series. That high pressure, I think, is just absolutely key, especially in this game number 1.
All right, text us 780-218-9999. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show live on location at Boston Pizza Westgate. Nanso, what do we got there? We got a bunch of Oilers T-shirts provided by Molson. We've got Hockey Night in Canada stuff. We've got a bunch of GCs, $25 gift certificates to Boston Pizza Westgate. We've also got some golf gloves to give away today. Come on down, take advantage of the food specials. $5 off medium pizzas. They've got their playoff menu, which is awesome. I recommend the poutine, obviously, and then $1 off tankards of Molson and Coors Light. Cass, I'm going to read this to you guys. It's from Ken. Ken texted in and said, I'm late to the conversation, but my Oilers X Factor could be the Oilers PR people posting Wayne Gretzky's visit to the Dallas locker room and congratulating them on beating the Jets. I would use that as bulletin board material as proof the great one doesn't believe in the Oilers. All I'm going to say is, like, people were knocking Wayne Gretzky. It didn't end well, and not because he doesn't like the Oilers. He loves Edmonton, obviously. I think it has more to do with, like, dealings with the ownership. And same with Mark Messier. I saw that. I wanted to address that because it was brought up today on the morning show. And both guys were part of the executives of the Edmonton Oilers. It didn't end particularly well. I'll just say that. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. But, like, who cares?
Well, Oilers fans do, because they don't know. Like, Gretzky has not turned heel on the Oilers all of a sudden. It's more so like, well, they kind of punted one guy, punted the other guy out the door.
Yeah. And important to note in this too, like, Gagliardi is a Canadian, right? With a lot of ties to the Canadian business world.
Yes.
And lots of businesses in Canada, does a lot of really good things in Canada too. So don't, like, I mean, like, not something that, I don't know, people shouldn't freak out about that.
But this is where, like, so Gretzky's not allowed to talk to any players that are not Edmonton Oilers.
No,
like, it's
never.
Ridiculous.
He's never allowed to congratulate anyone.
Yeah, he hasn't been an Oiler in so long. And yes, living legend. We all get that. But, like, I mean, he's a hockey guy first, and if he's in Dallas and they won the series and he's there, hey, do you want to come down and say hi to the guys? Why not? How does that offend this Oilers team?
Well, it doesn't offend this Oilers team. I guarantee you doesn't crap.
Yeah, they don't
give
care.
Craps.
Guess what? If Winnipeg would have managed to win, and let's say Winnipeg was winning that series, he would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know, and people do. People get very possessive with players like that, but It's like the hockey family, and it is a family. It's a very dysfunctional family, but it's still a family. So it's like, you're gonna go down and congratulate them. Like there's someone. Oh, guess what? We had, like, if Gordie Howe came down in that, would, like, Detroit fans be losing it if he came down to congratulate a team after winning? Like,
Gordie Howe helped launch the San Jose Sharks cast. He was wearing a Gordie Howe Sharks jersey.
Exactly. It's like, no, I know you want to hold on to this picture, but I think it's just kind of maybe blown out of proportion because of everything from a media standpoint earlier with Wayne, which I also think is completely overblown and frustrating to me.
Sure.
For a lot of reasons where it's just like, no, don't. He's a loyal Canadian that loves Canada. He does love Edmonton. He loves the Oilers. He wants them to do well. There's nothing wrong with him congratulating a team on a playoff series win. Get over it.
That's true. Thank you. Well said. Better said. I just wanted to give it some context as well. Anyway, Derek Van Diest, our good friend from NHL.com, posted this seconds ago. Says, looks like Connor Brown is in for the Oilers in Game 1 tonight. He's taking warm-up, Cass. Just a thought on having him in, because I know, he was one of those guys you're looking at as being an X factor.
Yeah. Oh, I think he is. And part of that goes not just to the physicality of it, but to the speed of it, where I think from a pressure standpoint on the forecheck, like they which is so crazy. And I just typed this to somebody. I can't even remember if it was Ace or Tango or I don't know who it was. I can't remember the nasty chat, but like, it's crazy that we just didn't see the physicality from the Edmonton Oilers until the playoffs. And now it's like, now they're physical and everyone's hitting everybody. But I think for like Connor Brown, for me, that speed is so huge, and his ability to apply some of that pressure on the forecheck with his speed is essential, I think, to disrupting how the Dallas Stars like to play. So super, super important. Glad to see that he's in there. Hopefully it's not something that limits him or causes him to not be able to pressure and forecheck like he has been the last couple of weeks.
Troll asked a good question. Hernan, you want to get to it?
Yeah, it says Oilers have two guys better than Rantanen.
Why isn't the rhetoric? Can Dallas stop the Oilers' top two players?
My contacts are real.
Oh yeah, I thought about that. Sorry. Old man
I think
over
that's
here.
You know what? That's like when we're talking about game changers, like we could just talk about Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. And on the Dallas end, that's true, right? On the Dallas end, that is going to be, that's on the flip side, that's what they're going to be looking at is like, hey, if we stop McDavid and Draisaitl, we have a really good chance to win this series. Like, that's the flip side on it over there. But I kind of carry the same attitude of this one as I'm sure you guys do, as I'm sure a lot of fans do, as I did the last series, where like the team that's going to beat the Edmonton Oilers here in this series is the Edmonton Oilers. Right, like that's if someone beats you in this series, I think it's the Edmonton Oilers. Right, like they're going to do it to themselves here, and so where for me it's like we're not talking about McDavid and Draisaitl, and how Dallas is going to try to stop them, because it's like you can't really, like if those guys are playing at their best, you can't really. You can kind of limit, but you can't really. So for me, it's more about on the other side, Edmonton being able to take care of their own end of business, because that offensive side should most likely be there.
Right. And I also think when it comes to McDavid and Draisaitl, I think it goes without, I get what Troll's saying, but it goes without saying. Those guys are top 2 points on every other team's board of who to contain and look after and all that, right? Like, and I thought the board made a good comment. I think it was either today or yesterday where he goes, they have two guys that can turn a game on its head. We have one. Where I think Dallas didn't have that guy last year. They had a lot of good players.
True.
But they didn't have Mikko Rantanen.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Okay, I have one more question, and then Cass, are you cool to stick around for game day odds check?
Yeah, we'll do that quick, and then I got to eat dinner so I can actually have energy to watch this game for sure.
Oh, I like it. He's a hungry boy. Really quickly, because I know you played in Texas. Your lovely wife, Mandy's from Texas. You know the state well. It is currently 31 degrees in Dallas.
Beautiful.
I know it's chilly here. It's going to warm up by the time the series shifts over here. 31 degrees. How much of a factor might that be inside the building? I know they have some dehumidifiers in there. It's a great facility, but will that affect the playing surface at all? Or how guys handle things?
It slows you down a little bit. The pucks bounce a little bit more. Like a little, not as going to be, basically it's not as clean and crisp. Yes, they have the dehumidifier, but it's still over 30 degrees outside. Like it's still hot, and it's still going to affect the quality of the ice and the softness of it. So in that, you're thinking simplify, especially not as much at the start of periods. It more affects it towards the end of periods. So if you think the last 5 minutes, 6 minutes of a period where it can get really slushy, but it's not just like, you have the people come out and shovel everything, all the shovel folks, and that helps. But it's not, it's like a wet powder that gets on the ice. And even with the TV timeouts and even with the shoveling the breaks, it's just the puck doesn't sit as flat. So even from a passing standpoint, if you're thinking of trying to make skill plays right at the end of a period, trying to throw a saucer pass over top of somebody, you have to know that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to execute later in a period in particular, because the puck's just not going to slide the same. The build-up on your stick is going to be there. You have to be cognizant of it. And it's just, the ice can break. It's a little easier to blow an edge. It's a little more, it's soft, but it's brittle soft with that type of temperature. So it does throw a little bit of an interesting dynamic in it. And normally I would say it means power plays at the end of periods are a little more difficult, but let's just hope the refs aren't calling any penalties towards the end of the period, because I don't want the Edmonton Oilers to have to penalty kill.
Yes, that could be quite a quite a disadvantage. Okay, Cass, I know you want to eat. I'm getting hungry after you mentioned that. I'll have something here, delicious menu here at Boston Pizza. What did Mandy or what did you make tonight for dinner?
I was chicken fried rice tonight. Yeah, a homemade chicken fried rice, which is never a bad thing. I should say miso chicken fried rice. Yeah, with some red miso in there. So,
well, you go dig in, big boy, because you're going to need some fuel for what should be a very exciting game tonight as the Oilers and Stars renew their rivalry in the conference final. Cass, great stuff. We'll see you on the post-game show.
Sounds good, guys. Enjoy it.
That is Matt Kassian, our game analyst with Game Changers, brought to you as always by Damon, Bunting, Real Estate, Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, live on location at Boston Pizza Westgate. Is filling up. We've got Benny Thompson here. He's got his crew here. Benny's got his Horkoff shirt or jersey and shirts off for Horkoff. So we're gonna need to see those nipples. Yeah, there you go. He wasn't really. Were you alive for 06? Yeah.
3 years old.
3 years old. Yeah, you were a fresh bebe. Okay, so he gets it though. He wasn't really cognitive at that point, but he gets it. Okay, we do need to get to the game day odds check, brought to you by our good friends over at Play Alberta. Make your bets count for you and everyone else with the Play Alberta app, with hundreds of player prop bets on the biggest leagues: NFL, CFL, NHL, NBA, MLB, you name it. You're not just playing for fun, you're supporting your province. Play Alberta revenue helps fund Alberta programs and services. Deposit today with promo code YEG50, YEG50, all caps, and get an EST exclusive $50 bet to get started. Our money line, Edmonton at plus 110. Dallas at minus 139. The puck line today, Edmonton minus 250. Vegas at plus 162. Here's what I always like to get into. Over-under. The over for tonight, minus 105. The under for tonight, minus 130. And the over-under set at 6.5. I have the over. I think we're going to see like a 4-3 game.
I'm taking the under. I think it's going to be like a 2-1.
Like a 2-1.
Yeah.
Meticulous battle with pucks bouncing all over the place. Edges being blown, like Cass was saying.
A little bit of rust.
Some rust. So the under is at minus 133. The over at 105, minus 105. Over under 6.5 is where it's set. Tonight, that is your game day odds check for Play Alberta. A couple of texts to wrap things up, but we've had a fun show. So Connor Brown is in. We'll point that out once again. Conroe, Texas. I love Conroe, Texas. Has been doing this for a while. Says Jobu 6-1 tonight. He makes it 7, and he has the shrine with Jobu and the Oilers t-shirts and jerseys. And there's Jobu from Major League. It's not an actual statue of Jobu. It's like a printed out photo.
I like it.
Of Jobu, who's got a cigar in his mouth. If you know Pedro Serrano from Major League. I think Serrano is back in Major League 3, or it's back to the minors. They were with the Salt Lake City Buzz. Yeah, Jobu. This text says Gretzky 99 is a hockey ambassador, not an Oiler ambassador. He was an Oiler ambassador for 5 seasons from 16 to 21. And they split. But you're right. He is a hockey ambassador. I saw a lot of that and people talking about it. It's like, listen, he's friends. He goes, he visits. He's in Florida a lot for games. He's in Atlanta in studio. So I know I saw that this morning and I'm like, I should just bring it up. Like, Gretzky and Westgate, they still love the Oilers. They still love this city. Best hockey memories are here.
And they still speak glowingly of the Oilers.
Exactly.
Like they're allowed to talk to other players that are not Oilers.
That is correct. That is correct.
I can't believe we have to
it's just a
clarify that.
It's just a good reminder.
Yes.
Let's go to Dave Minnock. Dave, say hi to Twitter Mary for us, obviously. X factors in the series for Dallas: Jason Robertson, as they need some secondary scoring for another line, and the Oilers is Darnell, as they need his big body presence on the back end to be physical. What else do we have? You got any in the nasty chat there?
Let's see here. Got a bunch early on about our question of the day. Let me scroll back as much as I can here, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
Bear with me here. I can't find them, but one person said Janmark's going to score 4 goals this series.
No, that's awesome. 2 shorties, Rowdy Roddy said, too.
A bunch of people picked Evander Kane.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's an excellent one. Skinner obviously was a popular choice as well.
Yep.
Stuart Skinner. So it's going to be interesting. Like, people, what do you think of game 1? I'm like, I don't know, because the Oilers have been off for a week. They've been really good. Well, like I said, and I told everybody today, no matter what happens in this game, it's going to be calm, because the Oilers are just, they're a different beast this year. Like, I don't think if they're down in the game, I worry. I don't think if they lose tonight, I think they'll bounce back Friday, and you're coming back home with a split. So, because I truly believe it's going to be a split, Tom. I don't know if that's tonight or Friday.
So. And that's okay. Let's get Zach to come in on this, because he's been producing back there at EST Global HQ. Zach, to come, you want to hop in and give us some thoughts going into this series?
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 very powerful teams, and it was an exciting series last year as well. And I think, I don't know, I want to give the benefit of the doubt to the Stars, that they have better goaltending stats. They're better on the PK, but their goal differential is one of the lowest in all of the playoffs right now. They're a -4. Oilers are +9. They're not good 5-on-5, the Stars are. It's almost a toss-up of the series. I do give the edge to the Stars because of their goaltending and their defensive pressure. So I'm excited for the game tonight. I feel like there's going to be a feeling-out process in the opener, for sure, as there always is. Maybe some slip-ups, like Cass mentioned, on the soft but brittle ice, which is a funny way to describe it. But it should be a good game. It should be a tight one as well. I don't think there's going to be an overly amount of scoring. Maybe 3-1 final.
You're taking the under.
It should be a good one. I'm taking the under for sure.
All right, we're going to rattle off the starting lineups one more time. We have a couple of updates for you really quickly. Starting lineups is always brought to you by Southport Chev. All right, I'm going to do the Stars. You're going to do the Oilers. Sure. I got the Stars ready to go. Hints between Granlund and Rantanen. Johnston between Robertson and Duchesne. Steele with Marchment and Sagan. And then back between Ben and Dodonov. On defense, here's where you're going to see the change. Lindell with Ceci. Harley with Heiskanen. Bischel with Labushkin, not Petrovic. So there goes my X factor for this series, at least to start. Jake Ottinger in goal. For the Edmonton Oilers, Hernan Salas.
Yeah, McDavid between RNH and Hyman, Podkolzin, Kapanen, and Draisaitl. Third line, Henrique with Brown and Kane. And then the janitor, Matthias Janmark with Trent Frederick, Corey Perry. Defensively, Kulak with Bouchard, Nurse Stetcher, and then Wallman with Klimberg. Your starting goaltender is, did you do starting goaltender?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Stuart Skinner.
Absolutely. There you go. There is your lineups for tonight, brought to you by Southport Chev. Big thank you to everybody who texted in. Big thank you to everybody who got into the nasty chat. For those who watched and listened, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, of course, YouTube if you're watching. Hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate you guys so very, very much. Enjoy game 1 between the Oilers and the Dallas Stars. Can the Oil punch their ticket back to the Stanley Cup final? It all starts tonight. A big thank you to Lia Assimakopoulos from the Dallas Morning News. She'll be back. And then for Hernan Salas and Matt Kassian and Zach to come, Ice Koob back at EST Global HQ. I'm Tom Gazzola saying ciao for now. We'll see you on the postgame show.